to Peralta too much. We got to talk about the who's not, and it's a tough situation, and nobody wants to. Fans want to talk about it, but nobody in the media wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to address it. But our Austin Barnes is a different world of bad right now, and he's really good at his job when it comes to catching, game calling, setting everything up, because it's not just for him and his games. It's for him. It's for Will. Like, he's essentially a coach that plays every once in a while. But Austin Barnes, was he hitting like under 100 now, right? Still?
Yeah. Austin Barnes has had a rough year. I mean, 9 hits for Austin Barnes so far this season. And this is a guy who actually was looking pretty good in the World Baseball Classic. You were probably saying to yourself, okay, this guy's going to have a solid season. And you know what he brings defensively, but 9 for 89 this season, hitting 101, a minus 10 OPS plus. This is a guy who was a negative 1.2 WAR. So, Clint, if we finish the season and the Dodgers finish 1 game behind the Arizona Diamondbacks, you could blame Austin Barnes possibly. That's how bad he's been. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like a guy who just wants to flame players or criticize players. I mean, I think statistically, it's not something to debate. I mean, it is factual that he has been one of the worst hitters in all of Major League Baseball. And at some point, you wonder, what is the upgrade look like? Is there someone else out there? We know Hunter Fiducia. We know the success. He had a 4-hit game. I don't know if that's the answer. I think, for me, the big question I have, though, is the fact that you have J.D. Martinez, who we just talked about, the fact that he's at the DH spot, right? If that DH spot was freed up, and maybe you could say to yourself, okay, we're going to get Will Smith some more reps at the DH spot, and you can bring in an experienced catcher that you could trust that could give you a little more at the plate. Maybe you consider going that route. But I think at this point, as bad as he's been, I mean, and this guy couldn't hit a pinata, even if he wasn't blindfolded, right? That's how much he struggled. But still, I think you just have to bank on the fact that he is going to find a way to just be serviceable. I mean, last night, bases loaded a couple times. You're hoping that maybe he walks, maybe he gets plunked or something. I mean, it's just not a lot of contact that says that, hey, there's hard contact that leads you to believe he's going to get out of this. So, yeah, definitely is something that's a concern. But do you think that, a question for you is, do you think that what he does defensively, the way he commands pitching staffs, do you think that that is good enough to justify him at the plate?
I would say a couple years ago, yeah. At this point, less so, because Will has come into his own as a game caller, as a receiver, all that kind of stuff. In 2020, I don't think the Dodgers win that World Series if it were not for Austin Barnes. He kind of took over behind the plate as Will sort of settled into a DH role. That proved to be a massive difference maker. You think back to bases loaded, nobody out situation for Walker Buehler against Atlanta, and them navigating through that situation. He put it all on Austin. He's like, give him all the credit. The only reason I survived that is because of Austin Barnes. But again, now it's different. Now Will he's a man. He's a big time man. He is the man, and you don't necessarily need that role for Austin anymore. So it's tough, man. They won't move off of him.
They won't.
I
agree. 100%.
Probably should in this situation, but
Clint, who was the last catcher that was the fan favorite? That was the beloved catcher, Kershaw's best friend.
That was the Kershaw favorite,
AJ Ellis.
Yeah, I know. I want you to riff on it because I have some thoughts as well. But
look,
we've seen this team move off of a fan favorite, and yeah, AJ Ellis didn't have a World Series championship with the team under his belt, as where Austin does. AJ was also 36, 37 at that time, maybe not that old. Austin's 33, but we've seen them make that hard decision. And what's his name? Ruiz. I can't remember his first name right now. He came in. He hit a big time playoff home run. He was solid. Kershaw was hurt. He cried about it, but I'm sure he'll move on. Austin Barnes, yeah, he's not helping the Dodgers win too many games, but to know that he's starting twice a week, it's such a fringe upgrade that's not going to make enough of a difference in October to where I'm okay keeping him around with how much he means to the pitching staff and to the catching staff and the coaching staff. I think he's in a better position. He's in more of a position of power than A.J. Ellis was.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, A.J. Ellis, when they traded him to the Phillies for Ruiz in the cash. He had a 47 OPS plus at the time, but like you said, he was older. Also, didn't have the postseason success that we saw Austin Barnes have. And also, too, I think it's from a leadership standpoint, Austin Barnes is one of the most respected guys on that team. Mookie Betts literally said that he's the captain of the team. So I don't anticipate them moving off him. And also, too, you have the DH now. You didn't have the DH when it was A.J. Ellis. Now you have a DH in J.D. Martinez. So offensively, is he your big problem? Is he your big issue? Not necessarily. I think it's other guys like we'll talk about next, Miguel Vargas and some of the other guys.
A couple of Miguels not really doing their job to help offset the Austin Barnes, but Austin Barnes you keep. It's okay. Are there upgrades in the organization already? 100%. But that's not the route to go. Plus, again, he's the captain. He is a clubhouse glue. That's something you can't trade. But
and also with all these young pitchers too, helping these young pitchers, I think you absolutely keep. And you just hope that he can turn things around. But keep Austin Barnes. I have to ask you, Clint. Can you give him the Clint cure? I mean, this would be one of your biggest. No, not eligible.
He's beyond help, man. This is terminal.
Yeah,
this is definitely terminal. But
you're a doctor, not a miracle worker.
When you have Austin Barnes in a lineup that also features Miguel Rojas and a couple months ago Trace Thompson and Miguel Vargas. All right, it is time to talk about Miguel Vargas because dude is hitting under 200. He had the triple last night. It's a Coors Field triple. Hits don't mean anything unless they come from JD Martinez, but he's finishing up a really bad month of June, hit a $149. I'm not seeing any signs of him coming out of it. If anything, I'm seeing a dude get worse and worse mentally as the struggles continue. You've been all aboard the Miguel Vargas train. You've been trying to sell me on him all season. You've been trying to sell people on him all season. I don't want to get on your train, sir. But at this point, you got to have a fair amount of concerns about this guy.
Look, I mean, last night that was nice to see him get that triple. I think it was 2 for his last 43, but the results have not been there. Vargas has struggled. There's no question about it. The hard contact isn't there like we saw when he made his debut last season. Even though the numbers weren't great, there were some signs that said, hey, this guy's hitting the ball hard enough, over 89 miles per hour. But yeah, in the month of June, a 54 weighted runs created plus, hitting 149. The production just is not there. So as far as am I going to sell my stock, I'm not going to sell my stock because I think when you're going to sell your stock, you have to ask yourself some questions. And I think I'm looking at the investment timeline. My timeline for Miguel Vargas is 5-10 years. I think he can be a core member. But also, too, another reason why you should sell your stock is short-term concerns. And I have some short-term concerns about my return on investment of him. And I think that he would be better served if you send him down, get his swing right, find a way for him to just get that rhythm and the confidence back. Because I think there's a lack of aggression at the plate at times. I think you're seeing him spit on certain pitches for no reason whatsoever. They're not asking him to be an on-base machine. They want him to do damage from the side. They want to be a guy that can get you doubles and go gap to gap. So, yes, he has definitely been better than some other options, but another reason why you sell a stock is you found something better. Now, have you found something better in Michael Busch? Because Busch is 9 for 45, hitting 200. He's also 25. So, 23 versus 25. Miguel Vargas is the younger prospect. He's the prospect that from a swing, from a bat-to-ball perspective, I think he has a higher upside. The only question is, at what point is it time to put the kids to bed and let the adults go to work? Because you have a lot of veterans on this team, and this is a team that's going to be around for 1 year. I cannot stress that enough. I cannot overstate that enough. Hayward and JD Martinez, Freddie and Mookie. This group, this is a 1 year last dance, whatever you want to call it, type team. And if they are fully confident that this team has enough pieces to make a run for the postseason, I think one thing you consider doing is you trade for an outfielder. I really like Adam Duvall on the Boston Red Sox on a 1 year, $7 million deal. He's raking against lefties this season, can provide some pop. You throw him in the outfield, and I think Mookie Betts continues to improve in the infield. I think either second or third base, Miguel Rojas, his offense continues to climb, hitting over 250 this month. So I think at this point, if you're going to address the infield as far as getting more production, more consistent production, I think moving Mookie in and finding another outfielder, because you have David Peralta, who, like you said, has come around. He's been one of the best hitters that this team has had. OPS close to 1,000 this month. James Outman, he's shown some signs of life. Jason Hayward, he isn't going anywhere. Chris Taylor, he is going to be returning. So I think you can add a bat to the outfield, whereas Tim Anderson, I'm selling my stock on TA right now, man. My man forgot how to hit. He forgot how to baseball.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay? So, yeah, I think that's something you could consider doing until you can have the confidence that Vargas is going to figure things out.
So I asked this question aloud in an article earlier this week. What do you do on DodgersNation.com? Go check it out. It's a website. It's how we keep the lights on around here. What do you do about this? What can the Dodgers do about Miguel Vargas? And they can keep running him out there. That seems to be the situation. Yeah, that's probably a no. If we're looking on the roster, yeah, you go the Mookie, or on the active roster, you go the Mookie route, and you free up the outfield for Peralta and Hayward the whole time. But you also still have hit and miss James Outman. So you don't move your Gold Glove right fielder to second base permanently. I don't see that happening. Would it be better for the team? Yeah, they're not going to go that route though. There are also a few dudes, and I know it's an unpopular angle. Like Michael Busch, no. Well, he hasn't proven anything. You don't just hand the keys to another guy like you're saying who isn't really proving himself or whatever. You can give him an opportunity, but there's a couple of guys down at AAA that are just there and they're doing well. Jahmai Jones, who has a little bit of big league experience in 2020 and 2021. He's been doing well. I think he's second on the team. When I last look, he's hitting almost, he has an OPS almost 1,000. He's got 30 extra base hits. He's got some pop. He's playing well. Yeah. Is it the sexiest move to go bring up this kind of minor league journeyman? No, but if he's playing better than the 199 hitting Miguel Vargas, it's something worth trying before going into trade deadline time. There's also a guy we've heard about for a long time, and I know it's not a popular one at all, but it's an option, and he's played some second base. Devin Mann, who's leading the team, the AAA team in OPS. He's got some pop. He's 26, so he's on the older side of being a prospect. But he's still producing. And Dave Roberts talks about like this is if you can hit, if you can produce, it's a production driven sport. You're going to get an opportunity. And these guys are just kind of wasting away down there at AAA. So if you want to try something different and give Miguel Vargas a mental reset, because I'm not saying you throw him away. Just give him a mental reset. Give him a month back down to AAA. Get his swing back, get the mentals right, and maybe if you don't make a move at the deadline, maybe he's hitting well again by the time August rolls around. But you have a couple of guys that are just there. That's free money. That's house money right there. If you want to go and try a Jones, even if you want to give Busch a little bit more time, or if you want to go the Devin Mann route.
Yeah, I think on a lot of franchises that make a lot of sense. And yeah, going back to Mookie, I don't think it would ever be a permanent move.
Yeah.
But I think that if you trade for another outfielder, you could see him getting more infield reps. I mean, defensively, he's a guy that's one of the best defensive right fielders in the game. Also, he loves to play the infield. So I think just continuing to mix it up for him, you can find ways to get some production. As far as the guys that are down there, man, yeah, there's definitely some guys out there that could possibly produce. But we've also seen, too, that's a process. You got to bring them up. You got to have them go through their ups and downs. They're going to have their eventual slumps. And at this point of the season, I think you would have already done that if you truly believed there was anyone down there. I mean, look what Emmett Sheehan. Everyone was surprised that he was the guy they brought up, and he was the guy that's had success. Well, that's because the organization knows their players better than anyone, and they realized that he was the guy that had the best chance to have that success. So this is a veteran group. This is a team that wants to win a World Series. I don't think you put all your hope and your cures on a prospect. I mean, I was DMing with someone from Baseball America, and I straight up asked him, I said, what percentage of prospects, in your opinion, do you think work out? And he said, probably like 25%.
Yeah.
25%. So I have a 1 in 4 chance of a guy coming up and helping this team that has one more year to win with this championship group in this window as far as the guys they brought in. So I still think you got to go out there. You got to get a veteran. How about Candelario of the Nationals? He could be traded. He's a third baseman. He's an unrestricted free agent after this season.
There are some options.
Muncy to second.
Absolutely some trade options there, but you need more.
Vince coming this week.
If they do